Ya, bueno. Toca avanzar con la capuchina un ratito, pues. La capuchina.
Jean will be upset if she catches us lazing around like this.
Vale. ¿Alguien más está en vivo, no? Por acá. Oh, la Michi. ¿La Michi está en vivo? Sí. Bolas. Vamos para allá.
Bring it!
Ah, tampoco he hecho la... Imposible, ¿no?
Get him!
Lo único que me acuerdo de la historia de la capuchina es que estamos viendo como un fantasma o algo así. Y que la estamos ocultando. Pero si nos descubren nos van a atacar de alta traición.
Ah, it's you two again. I must say, you look a bit pale. Did you have trouble sleeping last night?
Y supuestamente la teníamos que pegarle conversa, pues. loro.
A little.
Perhaps if you had less on your mind, you'd be able to absolve yourself of such troubles. So what are you planning to do now? Catch up on some sleep? Or should I give you some time to rack your brain for a topic to discuss before I ask any questions? Although I must profess to being curious. Without child here, how do you plan on distracting me?
Us? Distract you? A good one. But no, we were just here for a chat.
Anek dice, causa ponete sisis.
¿Qué?
Looks like you could have used some extra time to think.
No
No
cacho
matter.
tu
If
jerga,
you
amigo.
don't have any other plans, why don't you accompany me somewhere?
A un sitio.
Anek dice, acabo de ver el stream de una tipa que ni podía encender la estufa y tenía 2000 viewers.
Don't worry. I'll be sure to steer clear of any scheming children.
Anek dice, pero tenía buen escote. Anek dice, 10 décimos.
Ay. Eso pasa siempre. El morbo y el sexo vende. Y vende muy bien. Porque, puta, somos humanos, pues, weón. Somos básicos. Nah, ¿para qué? No necesito.
The ocean breeze is sure nice today.
Anek dice, somos pecadores.
No sé, yo no consumo ese tipo de material.
Children always think they can hide things from the grown-ups. But nothing gets past me. Least
No
of
me
all
metan
a
en el
little
mismo saco.
scheming. I think I'll let them have at it for a little longer. I can be very patient. Well, I'll leave you to think things over. If you're so inclined, meet me outside the Palais Marmonia.
Anek dice, Aneka sopocha madre, Aneka sopocha madre. Anek dice, no te creo.
Good things
Ay.
come to children who do as they're told. So I do hope you decide to tag along. If only for your friends' sakes.
Tampoco necesito demostrarlo.
What should we do? She clearly knows about everything we've been doing, and Paimon doesn't think it'd be a stretch to say she was threatening us just now.
Yo con suerte veo un poco de streamer a la gente que me viene a saludar a mí. Yo trato de saludarlo a ellos, pero de ahí a ver más contenido en Twitch, la verdad es que no. Casi no veo Twitch. ¡Soltamos el pájaro!
Oh, good idea. Hopefully he sees it in time. Well, we should probably head to the Palais Marmonia. Paimon doesn't want to find out what happens if we don't show up. Based on what the knave was saying just now, it sure didn't seem like it'd be anything good.
¿Cómo que no hay remedio?
Okay, then we probably shouldn't keep her waiting. It seems like Linny and the others are on thin ice, so let's do our best to not get them in any more trouble.
A la corte. Oh, voy a buscar algo de comida, weón. Tengo hambre, weón. Ay.
Seeing as we still have some time before my meeting, we might as well enjoy some pleasant conversation while we wait. I'm glad to see you get along with my children. Being surrounded by good companions is necessary for a child's development.
Ok.
Planning on doing anything to them, are you?
I assume you're referring to Lenny, Lynette, and Fremine. Although, there's that situation with Filial and Nentoy as well. It appears quite a few people have been acting out lately. No matter. I'm not one to discriminate. All those who betray the house meet the same fate. There are no exceptions.
Does that mean you're going to kill them?
Oh, are you here to beg for their lives? I'm sorry to disappoint, but the rules of the house change for no one. In my organization, everyone is responsible for their own actions.
But don't you care about them at all? They really respect you. They even call you father. You must feel something for them.
Any organization in which feelings come before principles is one destined for ruin. The House of the Hearth is hardly an exception. You could say our principles are more stringent than most.
Cuático.
Perhaps I can offer you this consolation at least. As our guests, you two will not be held accountable along with them.
¿No hay ninguna solución?
I would imagine Linny, Lynette, and Fremine will be able to keep their lives.
¿Sobrevivirán?
As for Filial, Nentoy, and the others, I'm afraid there's little I can do. They can try to escape, but once you know our secrets, there's no getting out alive.
But that's awful.
Bueno, ¿qué esperabas de los Futai, weón?
Ah, you seem concerned. Out of consideration for my guests, I suppose I could turn a blind eye for a little longer. If Linny and the others manage to dispose of Claire V in the meantime, all evidence of their wrongdoing will be lost. In that case, I could hardly punish them for something I couldn't prove. If their efforts are unsuccessful, on the other hand, all will be held accountable. And the punishment will be severe.
Pero de hecho.
Of course. Oh, and here. I believe this belongs to you. Do try and keep better track of it next time.
El pájaro.
It takes a considerable amount of time to train a bird like this. It would be such a pity if you were to lose it. Permanently.
Wait, where did you get that?
Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have to chat. Now, for the matter at hand. I asked you to meet me here because I have business at the Palais Mermonia. It has nothing to do with you, but well, time to go. Looks like we wrapped things up just in time.
Bye bye. No, pues sí. Dijo que la compañera. Tu, tu, tu. Ah, la reunión es con... en la oficina de Nahuel. Uy.
It's been a while, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Hola.
I must say, I wasn't expecting my meeting request to be approved quite so quickly. The Palais Mermonia operates with an efficiency worthy of admiration.
It is only right that an esteemed diplomat such as yourself should be afforded the proper level of respect. Although, if I may speak plainly, I must confess that I did not anticipate we would have the occasion to meet again after presenting you with the Gnosis. I see you brought the Traveler and Paimon with you as well. If I may inquire as to the purpose of your visit.
Entonces yo estoy de visita.
I'll be departing Fontaine shortly. There is, however, an outstanding matter that I would like to see resolved before I go. It requires a rather lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. So I took the liberty of explaining everything in this proposal. Please review it at your leisure, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Mm. Legending, legending. Yo me senté. Paimon se bajó para como simular que está sentado.
I understand your request. However, at the risk of causing offense, I must admit that I fail to see why you would wish for such a thing.
I heard you have a certain fondness for water tasting, Monsieur Nervalet, so allow me to use water as an analogy.
Cada tipo de agua.
A family is like a large body of water with countless rivers flowing in and out. As someone who watches over this system, I would hope that each river that flows from the source will eventually reach the ocean. Of course, objectively speaking, I know this is impossible. Most of the rivers will dry up along the way, disappearing into the ground and leaving nothing but a barren riverbed behind. Not all rivers are destined to reach the ocean.
Mikey dice,
But
¿qué
I would
onda,
not
Wii?
see their existence
¿Qué
rendered
pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
meaningless. I believe the
Hola,
water
hola,
that
Mikey.
flows within
¿Cómo
them
estás?
is simply meant for a different destination, like a field in need of irrigation. Or perhaps the glass of a certain water-tasting enthusiast.
Did you get any of that, Traveler?
No mucho.
Your words paint an optimistic picture indeed. Allow me to
Mikey
remind
dice,
you,
el
however,
flaco todo el
few
mundo
among
está
us are
moviendo
willing to
cielo y
sit from
tierra
a
para
glass
ayudarlo
filled
y él
with
solo sabe
tainted
criticar y
water.
mal agradecer, se enoja cuando le donan poca plata y se aparta de todo.
Ah, puta.
It may have been tainted at one point in time, but not to worry. I'll make sure it's drained of all impurities and returned to its cleanest form.
I seem to recall there being a transactional aspect to your proposal. Perhaps you could expound on that?
If you accept my proposal, Monsieur Nevelet, I will gradually withdraw my forces from Fontaine.
Mikey dice, pero ya no hablamos con él, si se muere y punto, está ahí, si sobrevive de seguro luego veremos qué hacemos con él.
Vale. Bueno, sí, si se puso en ese plan, bueno, no hay de otra
Mikey
forma.
dice, cambiando de tema, yo tuve una re mala semana Tamp.
Puta, ¿qué te pasó a ti, weón? Pero ¿cómo que tú tuviste una mala semana, weón? Si estamos recién partiendo, weón.
And, unless absolutely
Mikey
necessary,
dice, ya no
I
puedo
will no
jugar a
longer
nada
carry out
literal
any
nada.
special missions within Fontaine.
No, pues, weón. Puta, amigo. Una lástima.
I presume I can take your words to mean that, in the future, cases similar to the Tartuffe assassination will cease to cross my desk?
Tartuffe. Ah, that thief who embezzled funds from all those charities, you mean? My deepest condolences to his family, but without any evidence, I cannot imagine how the House of the Hearth might have been involved in his passing. Of course, if you accept my proposal, Monsieur Nevelet, I'm sure certain measures could be
Mikey
taken to
dice,
reduce the
se me rompió el
frequency
árbol
of
de
such
Navidad cuando lo
troubles.
intente armar.
¿Cómo rompiste un árbol, weón?
You choose your words carefully indeed. In that case, I am inclined to accept your proposal.
My thanks for your generosity, Monsieur Nevelet. Well, with that settled, we should be going now. I took the liberty of bringing along 2 bottles of spring water from Snezhnaya for you to enjoy. I do hope I get the chance to hear your impressions.
Indeed. I trust you would not overlook your commitment in the meantime.
All right, Traveler Paimon. Time to go.
No entendí ni una wea, weón. ¿Pero está Nebulet? Sí está Nebulet.
Mikey dice, intente jugar Genshin en mi cel pero va como a 15 FPS.
So, what exactly were you talking about back there? Paimon only heard you mention some rivers, a
Mikey
large body
dice,
of water,
me
and
puse a
then
pintar las
some kind
paredes
of
de mi casa y me di
irrigation
cuenta que
scheme.
nos estafaron con la pintura, no cubre nada, tengo que aplicar como 3 o 4 capas para que se vea como uno.
You really want to know? I
No,
would imagine there
ruso.
might be more pressing concerns at the moment.
Adiós, señor ruso. Hmm.
Lenny, Paimon really hopes everything's going okay. Oh, Paimon recognizes that look. You've got your thinking cap on, don't you, Traveler?
La Capuchino parece estar muy tranquila, pero no bromea cuando dijo que a quienes traicionan a la casa lo pagan con sus vidas. Creo que lo de castigar a los niños iba totalmente en serio. ¿Cómo podemos detenerla? No, antes de hacer nada, aún hay otra cuestión. Mencionó a Clerby cuando estábamos en la entrada del Palacio Mermonia. ¿Significa eso que siempre ha sabido dónde estaba? ¿Anticipó incluso el plan de Lynette y Reminet? Ya.
Oh, shoot. Are you alright? Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. I was so focused on selling these papers, I wasn't looking where I was going. Well, let me make it up to you at least. Here, take this paper.
¿De qué me suena este weón? Está ahí al fondo, pues weón, si es una cara genérica. ¿Cómo te va a sonar de algo?
Oh, you don't have to give us anything.
Please, I want to. It's not like I'm short on supply. All the extras will be useless come tomorrow anyway. It's my fault, really. I was just trying to bring home some extra mora for the family, but I bit off more than I could
Mikey
chew.
dice, además me
I haven't
hackearon
had
un
many
par de
takers
cuentas y
today,
me
so
robaron
I'm still
info,
swimming in
sacaron mi imagen de
papers.
mí, y todos lo de la raid se pusieron mi imagen y mi nombre, además de que me intentaron eliminar la cuenta de TWTCH, pero la pude recuperar.
Weón, de verdad que estáis fregado, weón. Amigo, vaya a la iglesia y purifíquese. Vayan a una señora bruja, weón, a una gitana para que te liberen, te limpien el aura.
What's going on here?
Mikey dice, a un par de compas del ads le robaron las cuentas de Discord, ya no pueden usar ads, no les deja entrar en sus cuentas, saltan con otros nombres y cosas.
Nothing much. I just ran into your friend here on accident. I should probably get going, actually, so...
Hold on.
Of course, I'm happy to compensate you with Mora, it's just... I don't have any on me at the moment.
Está sospechoso.
I'll take 3 papers. Here. Your payment.
Mikey dice, mejor no, básicamente soy satánico así que si entro a una de esas de seguro me quemo.
Oh! Thank you for your patronage. May the Archons bless you with good fortune. If only I had the chance to run into such generous customers every day. I should probably just take on a smaller inventory though, right? I'm getting married soon, so sometimes it's hard to not get ahead of myself. Anyway, I should head out. Goodbye!
Well, now that my affairs are settled, we should take the boat back to Poisson. We've even acquired some light reading to enjoy along the way.
Actually, why don't we stick around for a little longer?
Mikey dice, pero bueno, solo vine a contarle mis problemas a un boludo que no le importan mucho, se cuida, bye.
¿Cómo que no me importa,
Mikey
weón?
dice, estoy haciendo maratón de Harry Potter.
Buena. ¿Y en qué capítulo vas? ¿En qué película vas?
Paimon just realized how hungry she is. She can't head back to Poisson on an empty stomach.
Paimon está buscando alguna excusa para no volver demasiado pronto. Así que dudo que Linnea haya conseguido algo. ¿Qué hacemos?
Mikey dice, 4 cáliz de fuego, empecé ayer.
Buena. Buen maratón.
It appears you two are under the impression that delaying our return will somehow alter the situation in your favor. I'm sorry to ruin your fantasy, but your efforts are
Mikey dice,
meaningless.
bye.
Bye bye, amigo.
That being said, I could be persuaded to give Linny some extra time. I just have one condition. If you agree to my request, I'll even answer some of your questions. You're quite curious about Claire V, are you not? And my relationship to her.
Wait, why are you being so generous all of a sudden? You're not gonna ask us to do something bad, are you?
You overestimate yourself. You don't have the talent for bad things.
Then what can you possibly...
The most important consideration in a negotiation is that both sides receive something they want. Demands and threats only get you so far.
Ok. ¿Cuál es la condición?
Wonderful. Here it is.
Ay, qué lindo el labio.
When the time comes, make the choice that you deem most appropriate in the situation, and lend your help to the House of the Hearth.
Ok.
Okay, sounds normal enough. But what do you mean, when the time comes? When is that supposed to be?
That is for you to decide.
Ok.
Then we have a deal. Follow me.
Te followeo. Ay. Se me olvidó preguntarle al Mikey cómo logró detener la raid, pues, weón. Como para saber qué hacer si me atacan a mí
I feel
también.
like running.
Bueno, otro día le pregunto. Fíjate aquí. Puta.
Bring it!
this place?
Somewhere long forgotten by everyone. It used to be a grand building. Now it's nothing more than a pile of rubble. No one comes here anymore, nor does anyone care about what once happened here. Although, this place does have something to do with the story I'm about to tell you. It was before I became a Harbinger, and before Linny and the others joined the House of the Hearth. Due to certain events, I first killed Clairvy and then her mother. And this is where it all happened.
You were the one that killed Clairvy?
What? Ah, puta, en el video que vimos lo mostraron, po.
Patience now. Allow me to explain Clairvy's side of the story first. I'll start from the beginning. Clairvy was 6 years old when she was brought by her mother, Crucibina, to live in the House of the Hearth. From the outside, it seemed like a fairy tale. A thriving family made up of kind adults and friendly children. Crucibina was the knave at that time, and the House of the Hearth was under her control. She was Clairvy's mother by blood, but she was also the mother to all the children in the house. Clairvy was happy here, for a time. But she quickly realized that being part of this family wasn't a fairy tale at all. It was a kind of purgatory.
Purgatory?
Exactly. The House of the Hearth takes in war orphans from all over Teyvat. But as for how to raise them, that depends entirely on the person in charge. Crucibina came up with a novel idea. She would teach the children to fight, force them to duel each other, and then crown as the king of the house the child who proved themselves most worthy of inheriting her title. It's difficult to estimate the number of children who died or were maimed in the process. There's little I can say about the ones who died. The ones that emerged with permanent injuries, on the other hand, well, they still served a purpose. They would be handed over to the doctor to be experimented on, or sent away on dangerous missions. Nothing more than tools to be used and then discarded.
Los culiados brigios, po, weón. Puta y culiao.
So those were the experiments Clairvy was talking about. But what actually happened to her? You said that Clairvy was Crucibina's daughter, so if Clairvy tried to convince her to stop what she was doing, Crucibina probably would have listened, right?
Despite being Clairvy's mother, Crucibina cared little for her daughter. She forced Clairvy to join the House of the Hearth only as a means to demonstrate her own impartiality as a mother, to prove that she treated all her children equally. Clairvy did try to convince her mother to change her ways, but it was to no avail. After her efforts failed, the only other option was to rise up and try to fight back. Unfortunately, the other children had already been thoroughly indoctrinated into the illusion of happiness Crucibina had created. Of course, there was one exception. Someone Clairvy's age who knew the truth about the House of the Hearth. Her name was Peruere.
Pero por casualidad no será Perry, la persona que Clevy no deja de mencionar.
Wait, the friend that Clairvy mentioned?
Friend, huh? I suppose we can call her that for now.
¿No será esta?
Clairvy was a cheerful and passionate person with a tenacious spirit. Peruere, on the other hand, was rather cold-blooded. Her cold-blooded nature allowed her to see through Crucibina's facade. Yet, it was also this cold-bloodedness that prevented her from acting against it. At least at first. While Clairvy longed for freedom, Peruere was convinced that, amid all the fighting and violence, She would make it until Despite their differences, the two became fast friends, united by their knowledge of the truth. Clairvy told Perouer that she hoped to create a real family, where no one would be killed or sacrificed. There may have been a certain naivete to her ideas, but Clairvy proved her determination many times over. She tried countless times to run away, ask for help, or expose the truth. But her efforts only earned her beating after beating. Even with her body racked with pain, she would still stand on her tiptoes and open the window at night. She and Perouer would look out at the moon together, a fierce longing for freedom shining in her eyes. But one day that light simply vanished.
Oh no. What happened?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
Her hopelessness resulted from a culmination of things. 10 years had passed. 10 years worth of failure after failure. She and Perouer weren't children anymore, but finding any chance to escape still seemed as hopeless as ever.
Chucha.
It was during this time that Perouer suggested a new plan. If escaping was out of the question, why not take down the very person sitting on top of this throne of lies? Mother herself.
Botín.
Clairvy rejected that proposal. She claimed that, as a famous harbinger, Crucibina possessed an unimaginable amount of power. Trying to kill her would have an incredibly low chance of success. Clairvy never gave another reason, but Perouer could see it written all over her face. Clairvy still thought of Crucibina as her mother. Killing her own flesh and blood was a line she couldn't bring herself to cross.
Chuta.
If she couldn't escape and fight back, then only one option remained.
Morí.
Precisely. Death was the only way that she felt she could be free. It happened during a duel. When she arrived at the dueling ring that day, her partner turned out to be none other than Perouer, the very person that had stood by her side all those years. It was a fierce battle. But ultimately, Clairvy decided to let Perouer end her life. From that moment on, Perouer's journey was one written in flames. When the rain finally came and washed it all away, there she stood, the sole victor in
Definitivamente
Mother's
no debía
endless
evitar la
game of
animación anterior.
slaughter. A
La debía
trail
dejar
of
para después.
corpses strewn across her path to success. It was the very result she had predicted 10 years prior. Even then, she believed she would make it until the end. She wasn't surprised by the fact that she emerged as Mother's undisputed heir. Rather, her success left her with an inexplicable sense of restlessness. She was unsettled. And there was only one thing that could quell that sensation. Perhaps you two would
Matar
like
a
to
quien
take a
aún había
guess
por
as to
encima
what
de
it
ella.
was.
Crucibina, you mean? But...
Correct. This is the place where Perouer killed her best friend. A mere year later, this is also the place where she fought tooth and nail to kill the mother they shared. The moment she acted, any conception of what was right or wrong ceased to matter. It's one of the principles of the house. Only those who survive get to write the rules. Perouer won the battle, and became a harbinger herself. After which Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa, bestowed upon her a new name. Arlecchino.
So the Perry Clairvy was talking about... It was you all along. You're Perraware. Arlecchino is just a name you got later.
Era tanto historia de Cleve como la tuya.
I left that name behind long ago. I must say, hearing it now does bring back memories. After I defeated Crucibina, the moniker of Mother died with her. I chose to forego the title she called herself and even chose to give up my own name. I rebuilt the House of the Hearth under a new identity. Not only as Arlecchino, but as father. And that is where the story ends. Any more questions?
Y entonces, ¿quién es la Cleve que me conoció? Porque está chiquita, po.
Yeah. Based on what you just told us, Clairvy wasn't a little kid when she was killed. So the Clairvy we met,
A menos que
was
ella
she
se
really a
presentó.
spirit at all?
I suppose you could call her an illusion born of flame. Her existence is like ashes to a fire. Something left over in the wake of blaze and ruin. You see, a certain power runs through my veins. It's not unlike a curse. My flames leave behind shadows of anything they consume. Of course, the chances of those shadows morphing into a sentient entity are exceedingly slim. Clairvy is a very special
Que pueda
case.
tomar control. Chucha.
Clairvy died when she was 16 years old. But what emerged from the flames was her 6-year-old self. Her appearance wasn't the only thing affected. Most of her memories were lost to the blaze as well.
Claro, po. Y solamente recuerda hasta que tenía esa edad, po.
Memory is a mysterious thing indeed. Losing a portion of your memories will alter your sense of self.
No wonder Paimon got such a weird feeling when we were talking to her.
Perhaps I should put it this way. Clairvy is someone trapped in time. It may seem like she exists with us in the present, but she truly lives in the confines of her own past.
So if all of that is true, then you must have known about Clairvy for a long time.
Siempre lo supo, weón.
Indeed. She's a rather volatile and unstable entity. Sometimes she would look after the children. She's even saved some of their lives. But other times, she would hide from me and become obsessed with revealing the truth about the house to anyone who will listen. Shadows don't have the capacity to learn or grow. Any new information they encounter is quickly forgotten over time. Your attempts to expose Clairvy to sunlight. They failed, yes? The reason is actually quite simple. In Clairvy's mind, the house is impossible to escape. And it
Ah,
is
yo
this
empecé
very
porque no
perception
tenía
that
flores
traps
en
her
el
there.
coso.
But no matter. All I have to do is kill her again, and all will be resolved. I don't anticipate so much as a single speck of ash will be left behind this time.
¿Y es necesario matarlo?
Wait! Paimon can understand why you might want her gun, but isn't there another way? So what if she's trapped in her 6-year-old self? She's still your friend! At least talk to her first!
It's too late for that. She broke the rules, and now she must be punished. That goes for Filial and Nantoy as well. She's had quite the effect on them.
Un fantasmita.
I hope you understand. The difference between Crucibina and myself lies in our formulation of the rules, not our policy for enforcing them. Upholding the rules without question is a trait we both share, because that is how a household should be run.
Chucha. No, esto va.
Is this really what you want to do?
Oh. El prota habló, weón. Buena, el weón dijo, hoy se come. Ahí se trabaja, amigo. Buena.
Whatever could you mean?
Don't you want to say a proper goodbye at least?
Sí, po, aprovechando.
Whether as a killer or as a father, there are two things that must be avoided at all costs. Anger makes you impulsive. Sorrow causes you to waver. Well, it appears it's about time to proceed. Before we arrived, I told some of my well-behaved children to bring our troublemakers here by nightfall. I do believe I've kept my end of the deal. I gave your friends quite a bit more time. As for what happens now, we'll just have to wait and see.
Here they are, Father.
Ah, you gonna execute him? Seeing something like that would actually be a first for me. Lenny!
I'm sorry. I heard about how you helped buy us more time.
I still failed. I couldn't find a way to fulfill her wish.
Huh? Are you... Perry?
No.
Indeed, it's been a while, Clairvy.
Perry!
Shh. Stay right there. I'm sorry to postpone our reunion, but first, I believe certain scores need settling.
Ayuda.
Father, let me explain.
Out of my way.
Father!
You chose to conceal a threat to the house. And for that, you must be punished. Overall, however, I suppose your wrongdoing is hardly the most egregious of the bunch, so I'll deal with your punishments later. As for right now, the more pressing concerns are the traitors among us.
Ayuda.
By traitors? Do you mean us?
Father, let me explain. We didn't mean to...
Fultz, why don't you share what you heard?
Yes, Father. Secret Midnight Meeting number 3. Participants, Filial, Nantoy, Sato, Toddy. Nantoy clearly said, if only Father wasn't the one who took us in. Sato added, I'm sick of this life. I just want to live as a normal person. Filial was the worst of them all. She called us crazies and said a bunch of mean things about Father.
Pero weón, está haciendo medio soplo, weón.
I did not! You're lying! Fultz is trying to frame us!
It's not like I'm the only one who heard those things. After that, you and Toddy and a bunch of other people started talking about Clairvy. You were using all those things Clairvy brought up as an excuse to question Father. We're birds locked in a cage. The only way out is to destroy it. That's what you said, wasn't it?
You little... You just want me gone, don't you? What did I ever do to you, huh? And you, Sheplo, have you forgotten who stood by your sickbed, watched over you,
El
and
tío
changed
barra
your
baja anti
dressings?
dice, verga, a
Come
esta
on,
hora mi
Let's
TikTok
hear
se
it
pone
then.
raro y me hace
What's your
sobrepensar
reason for
todo.
all this?
Chuta.
You're wrong, Filial. We don't want you to die. You're our family.
Entonces, ¿por qué lo sabíais, po, weón?
Liar. You wouldn't be doing this if that were the case. So why? Why have you backed us into a corner?
We all live in the House of the Hearth. You know the type of work we do, Filial. A single betrayal can cost dozens of us our lives. It's not like it's never happened before. That kind of thing is hard to forget. That's why the House of the Hearth cannot tolerate any form of betrayal. Ever since we came to Poisson, you've had 7 secret meetings. A lot of the things you talked about really crossed the line.
You've been spying on us for half a month? Wait a second. Now that I think about it, the move to Poisson was just a way to make it easier to spy on us, wasn't it? Because we were all in one place! You've had this planned all along!
Filial, Nantoy, I'm sorry. I owe you both my life. I owe Clairvy too. If it weren't for all your help after I got poisoned, I wouldn't be standing here today. If this were any other situation, I would do anything to repay that kindness, even if it cost me my life. But rules are rules.
Chucha.
I'm sorry. My hands are tied.
Why? Why?
That's enough, Filial. We made a mistake, and we should own up to it. We broke the rules.
Anek
Plain
dice, P
and simple.
causa.
And now we have to face... I'm sorry, Chaplot. Fultz. I'm sorry, Father. We... accept our punishment.
Chaplot, according to the rules of the House of the Hearth, how should these traitors be punished?
Pero solo estaban hablando mal de la buena, pero no estaban planeando algo, po. No cacho, po. Ya se están quejando, ¿no? Po. Me perdí. Y eso que estoy leyendo aún.
All those who betray the house pay with their lives.
And so it shall be.
Pero los va a matar de verdad.
Father, please wait!
Something you want to say, Linny?
Please reconsider, Father. What Filial and the others did, does it really count as betrayal? We all come from broken families. From the very first day we joined the House of the Hearth, we wanted nothing more than to make it a real home. But the truth is, none of us know what a real home should look like. I'm not saying I have all the answers. All I know is this. Killing Filial and the others may uphold the rules, but doing so will only bring us further away from being a real family than we've ever been.
Sí, po.
So please, Father, please reconsider.
I agree with Linny.
Father, please. Linny, you... I also agree with Linny.
Chuta.
An order once given cannot be rescinded. However, given the extent of your determination, I suppose we shall have to go about this a different way.
Uy, chucha. Se puso
Draw
brígida esta
your
wea.
weapons. And
Our weapons?
Father, are you referring to a duel?
precisely. The rules of the house will not be altered. Traitors must be punished. However, resolving disputes with a duel is also one of our rules, one that also applies to me. Demonstrate a sufficient showing of strength, and I shall offer a concession.
Wait. Beat Father in a duel?
Impossible. Father is way too strong, even for Lenny.
Pero 3 contra ella, podrían por lo menos hacerle pelea, ¿no? Uh. ¿Se viene animación?
Did you hear that, Traveler?
Chucha.
Lenny and the others have to duel the knave. What should we do? Can they really win something like that?
Ah, vale. Acá donde yo me meto y peleo yo con ella en vez de ellos.
If they lose, those people from the house are really gonna be executed. Hey, are you listening?
¿De verdad lo que quieres es ejecutarnos?
Don't you want to say a proper goodbye at least?
Anger makes you impulsive. Sorrow causes you to waver.
El Capucchino no ha respondido directamente. No ha respondido directamente a mi pregunta. Por lo tanto, no es hoy la respuesta.
Oh. Looking at that expression on her face, she seems really serious about this. Guess that means there's no chance she's throwing the duel on purpose, huh?
La Sota jamás dejaría ganar, pero...
When guests are around, families are often on their best behavior. And any disputes are less likely to escalate.
Ya, sí, tenemos que pelear nosotros.
When the time comes, make the choice that you deem most appropriate in the situation, and lend your help to the House of the Hearth.
Es así... Tergiversamos las reglas.
What's wrong, Traveler? Hey, where are you going?
Traveler?
Dale que soy padita. Me gustaría ver con mis propios ojos lo que es capaz la cuarta de los 11. Por entonces.
You're asking to join the duel against the knave?
¿Puedo?
I'll allow it. We do have a ready-made dueling ring at our disposal, after all. All I would advise is this. Keep a firm grasp on your weapon, and give it your all. Any less, and you may just
Shusha.
lose your life.
¿Se viene pelea?
Letting brave names echo!
Ay, ¿por qué no?
To shine!
Closer now.
And voila!
With these rising flames.
Ay.
Is it my turn now?
I'll race you there!
Spare your energy. Running is of little use.
Are you alright?
Is it my turn now? Now that's like it.
Yo!
With these rising flames. Closer now. Hunt them down. Is it my turn? Spare your energy. Running is of little use. The countdown has begun. Have a taste of purgatory.
¡No!
Training.
And voila!
Spare your energy. Running is of little use.
Over here!
Madre, weón.
Hear the echoes of
The
the valley!
countdown has begun.
May I present?
Like a fly tangled in a web.
Ay, corre, corre.
Spare your energy. Running is of little use. With these rising flames. Is it my turn now?
I'll race you
Running is of little use.
Watch out for Father's movements!
Have a taste of thermite. How amusing. It's
Que tu madre, weón, ¿cómo esquivo esa weá? La madre, weón, me matan.
over here. Is it my turn? Not bad. You've proven to be a worthy opponent after all.
Weón.
Go, go, there! Stop that! Time to shine!
Is it my turn now?
I really have to draw my blade. And
Closer now. With these rising flames. Is it my turn now?
and voila!
Loaded. Spare your energy. Running is of little use.
Bueno, sobrevivimos al menos. Bueno, a chilones no. No la pude revivir. Ah, no, tenía segunda fase. Puta la wea. Pero güey, me mató la pinche tu madre.
Oh, brilliant!
Watch out for Father's movements! Look out!
Puta la weá, tenía que revivir a la chilones, po weón. Pinche tu madre.
Into the shadows.
Now's our chance!
Over here!
Your punishment made manifest. Enough.
Ah, carajo, pinche tu madre. Ay, se culpó.
Watch out for Father's movements! Look out!
The sun
Puta
and
madre,
moon
ay,
have set.
corre.
Only ruin remains. All hope has
Puta la
been
concha de tu madre.
Now's our chance!
Over here!
Ay, Purina, sobrevive. Pero Juan y Diego, sálvenme, concha de tu madre.
Quit mining! I go in song!
Watch out for Look out!
Concha de tu madre. Sobreviví con a dura pena, weón.
You should know better than to crowd in one place.
Oh, I know.
Now! I'm sorry, Father!
Uy.
Sorry for what? This pitiful excuse for an attack.
Father, no!
figured it out, did you? You're stronger than I expected.
A crimson moon? I can't move.
Uy, por fin hablo, weón. Ay.
Still, not strong enough to beat me.
Joder, culiao. Por último le tenían que haberle pegado, pues, weón. Nah. Está muy rota la bastarda, weón. Me cae mal.
I believe we can end things here. It's not often that we get to enjoy the company of guests, after all. We wouldn't want things to get too out of hand.
Brother, are you all right?
Lenny.
Given that I am the victor of this duel, as agreed, the punishment stands.
No!
I never thought things would end like this.
However, everyone involved in the duel demonstrated a remarkable level of strength and determination.
No.
In light of this, I'm
¿Le
prepared
va a
to
matar
change the method
la
of
vía social?
execution. Elwar, the bottled flames I gave you for safekeeping. Do you still have them?
Yes? I wasn't sure what they were for, but I've kept them super safe. I didn't lose a single one.
Wonderful. Then, in just a moment, I'll have you administer them.
Bottled flames?
Indeed. They're the product of a secret experiment. Under certain special circumstances, flames can be extracted from my person and preserved. Once ingested, searing pain will spread across every inch of your body. No harm will come to you physically, but your memories will be burned away.
¿Qué?
If you can withstand the pain. When you awake, you'll have forgotten everything you know about the House of the Hearth, and will be expelled from the organization.
Ah, bueno.
In other words, administering this concoction will kill the version of you that grew up in the house, and give you a new identity.
Ahora lo entiendo. El repartidor de periódico con el que nos encontramos en la puerta era Horror, uno de los condenados. En realidad no fue asesinado.
Memory is a mysterious thing indeed. Losing a portion of your memories will alter your sense of self.
No. Si he entendido bien, la Capucchino, ella sí mató a Horror. El Horror que vivió en la casa de la hoguera está muerto. Pero el que quedó no es más que una persona normal que vive su vida con su amada. De ser realmente así, es un poco mejor que quitarle la vida.
So, you're just letting us go, Father?
You misunderstand. Memories are extremely important. Once consumed by flame, the version of you standing before me will die, and our secrets will die with you. So no, I don't intend to just let you go, because the person who survives will be nothing but a stranger.
Pero no los deja botados, pues, weón. Es que, claro, le podría dar esa weá que pierde memoria y dejarlo por ahí botado. No, pues, weón. Lo ayuda cuando le crea una identidad nueva y ahí lo bota.
Even so, I won't have to live in fear anymore.
Hola Sergio, ¿cómo estás? No me asustaste.
Sergio Pro dice, hola River XD.
I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry I let you down. But I really...
Don't cry, filial.
Pero no entendí qué chucha querían hacer estos weones. Porque lo único que entendí es que hablaban mal y se estaban quejando nomás. Pero no logré entender qué realmente querían. Estaban haciendo un... Querían escaparse. Querían hacer algo. No entendí, weón. Un juego culiado, weón. Su weá tan compleja, weón. Juego culiado, weón.
You haven't left the house yet, so there are still rules to be followed, yes? Remember what I taught you. Anger makes you impulsive, sorrow causes you to waver. Don't let yourself be controlled by your emotions.
Of course. I'll remember.
Dry your tears, and go pursue the life you really want.
Yes, Father.
Chaplot, Fultz, Elwar. Take them back to Poisson. And bring Lenny. I prepared 3 extra vials of bottled flames. As for whether to take them, the choice is yours. Goodbye, children. The next time we meet, I will no longer be your father.
Entonces los echó a todos. A los 3 weones. Y a estos 3 weones también.
Thank you for all you've done for the house. I hope you have bright futures ahead of you.
Father.
Let's go.
Chucha.
Here, grab my arm, Lenny. I'll help you walk back.
Thank you.
Clairvy.
Ay. Ay, pasó a medianoche.
Can we talk now? I've been waiting for a super long time. You really are Perry, aren't you? I haven't seen you in so long. How come you're all grown up? Wait, did I somehow travel to the future on accident? Or am I dreaming? What a long dream.
Neither. You died, Clairvy. That's what happened.
Chucha.
You could have at least sugarcoated it a little. Look, she's done speechless.
Ya yo demasiada mentira.
Oh. Okay then. Huh? That's it? You accepted it just like that? Yep. If that's what Perry says happened, then I believe her. Perry wouldn't lie to me. Plus, I don't really need to know why I'm like this. I'm more curious about what happens in the future. If you're a harbinger now, Perry, that means Mother is gone, isn't she? Can you tell me about it? I want to know what happened to her. And to me.
You never stopped trying to defy fate. At first, no one believed you. You could only vent your frustrations to the moon. In fact, you often sought comfort in the night sky, You wanted to see the aurora, so one night we promised each other we would go to Snezhnaya to see it together. Later on, you tried to run away, but you were brought back each time. Mother spared your life, but it wasn't out of kindness. Instead, she decided to make an example of you by slowly torturing you over time. That way, the other children would know what happens to traitors. Still, you never gave up. Mother hoped that through ruthless duel after ruthless duel, she would be able to crown an ultimate victor among the children she raised. But you called on everyone to unite, to fight to a draw in order to reduce casualties. Your efforts may have only delayed the inevitable, but still. You gave them hope.
Chucha.
You tried everything you could think of, but every attempt ended in failure. Still, you never turned your sword on Crucibina, and you never turned it on me. For the last 16 years of my life, I've done everything I can to fight for freedom. But now, I realize that the only freedom I truly possess is the freedom to choose to die.
I never imagined I would say something like that. I must have been feeling really worn down. But somehow, I still think I understand. According to Mother's plan, only one of us was going to make it until the end.
Claro.
And I always hoped that person would be you. If I could do it all over again, I still don't think I would make a different choice. Even when I first met you, I knew you'd be able to do what I couldn't.
Is that so? Even now, I'm not sure I truly understand what kind of freedom you were trying to pursue. But as the head of the House of the Hearth and as the children's father, I've tried to give them the most basic of freedoms. The freedom to choose their own fate. It's something I discussed with the Iudex of Fontaine. The children who want to leave the house will have their memories wiped clean of all secrets pertaining to the organization. In return, they will be allowed to live a normal life in Fontaine without being prosecuted for their past. Of course, I won't simply hand freedom to them on a silver platter. They have to fight for it and prove themselves worthy of it. Only freedom that is earned has true value.
Claro.
That's more than enough. That's exactly the kind of life I was fighting for. You know, Perry, I think you're a pretty amazing king, and a really great father, too. I'm really happy that you're the one who took over the house. I guess I do have one regret, though. I still haven't seen the outside world.
Pobrecita.
Well, it just so happens that our dear guests over here
Sergio
have been
Pro
to many
dice,
nations
me acuerdo
and
que yo
traveled to
pensaba que de
countless
verdad los
places.
iba a mandar con San Pedro
Perhaps
XD.
they would be willing to tell you what the outside world is like.
Yo pensé que el viajero iba quizás no ganar, pero quizá iba a darle un golpe a esta buena para detenerlo. Pero que ni un rajuño le hicieron a esta weón, está muy rota, weón. Deben nerfear a esta bastarda culiada, weón.
Really? Of course! We've traveled all over the place. We've got so many stories, we could probably talk your ears off for 3 days straight.
Habló sobre el reino del viento y su libertad.
You know, I used to dream of being a bard. Playing the lute while singing into the winds of freedom. Even if there was no one there to listen, I would have continued to sing no matter what.
Sobre el reino de piedra y sus contratos.
Ah, that's where Mora comes from. I never knew that before.
Ah, le estamos contando sobre las naciones, ya.
If I had some Mora, I would buy 3 new dresses. One for me, one for Perry, and one for Mother.
Pero por qué por madre, weón.
It's just too bad Perry doesn't like wearing dresses. And Mother, she probably wouldn't accept something like that either. I guess I'd just have to keep them all for me then. I could wear a different one every day.
Sobre el reino del trueno y su eternidad.
Those yokai you mentioned, what do they look like? I once saw a drawing of this one guy with horns on his head and a super scary face. Are there any yokai like that? Oh, sounds like you're talking about an Oni. Yep, we've met one, and let Paimon tell you, they're not nearly as scary as they look.
Sobre la tierra de la exuberancia y sabiduría. Oh,
I was always too afraid to skip Mother's fighting lessons. But at the academia, I bet you could do all sorts of secret things in class. Things that have nothing to do with
El
studying.
arcángel dice, Ustito.
Para Arcángel, ¿cómo
El
estás?
arcángel dice, no se duerma XD.
Estoy leyendo, bueno, no me estoy quedando
Sergio Pro dice, jajajaja.
I'm just kidding. Being able to study whatever you want without having to fear for your life.
Y no hablamos de container.
The situation was super dangerous. Lenny and Lynette were accused of committing a crime, and they were going to have to stand trial at the Opera Epicles.
Terminamos contándole la historia de container. Vale.
Oh no, that must have been hard for all of you. What happened next? Don't worry, we were able to turn the situation around super quickly. All thanks to Detective Paimon, of course. How'd you do that? Come on, tell me. Okay, so it was like this. After the failed magic show, we rushed to the scene and...
Paimon está entusiasmada contando lo que ocurrió en container, mientras Clavy la escucha con tanta atención. Desde luego, parece que es mucho más contenta, como si hubiera olvidado de sus preocupaciones. Supongo que nunca había podido relajarse tanto como ahora, pero ¿cuánto durará este momento?
Shadows don't have the capacity to learn or grow. Any new information they encounter is quickly forgotten over time.
Con el tiempo se olvidará de lo que le hemos contado y volverá a ser esa niña asustadiza que se esconde detrás de la sombra. Vaya, estaba tan distraído y pensando en mis weas que no he dado cuenta que ya se ha hecho de día. A ver si sigue de noche, bueno, qué wea.
Clairvy, you've worked tirelessly from the shadows to overthrow the House of the Hearth. Now, by my authority as the Knave, I shall announce how this matter ends. You are hereby expelled from the House of the Hearth. You are no longer tied to this place, nor are you bound by its rules.
You're saying that I can finally leave? I get to experience the outside world as well? Oh, I almost forgot. There's no getting older for me. Still, seeing who you grew up to be makes me really happy, Parallel.
No.
Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
May we meet again someday.
Pucha, qué triste. Pero al menos se fue feliz el fantasmita. Ay.
She left so soon. Paimon didn't even get to finish her story.
I also have certain sentiments left
Oh.
unsaid. I wanted to tell her that the aurora I saw in Snezhnaya was just as beautiful as the ones in the pictures. But a shadow's memories reset at dawn. Had we delayed any longer, we wouldn't have had the time to say goodbye. Whatever regrets may linger, Let them be lost to the coming of a new day.
Entonces va a aparecer mañana.
Father?
It's Linny! Hey, Linny! What is he doing back here? Let's go check it out.
Bueno, vuelve a aparecer. No
Sergio Pro
recuerdo, ¿no?
dice, cuando vuelva a aparecer no recordará nada.
Es un fantasma con Alzheimer, weón.
Father, the bottled flames have been administered. Filial and the others have left the house.
And you? What have you?
Thank you for giving us that choice, Father. But we never wanted to leave the house.
vale.
It's the only home we've ever known. Lynette and Fremine feel the same way. They're recuperating back at the Hotel Bouffe d'Été. But I decided to come back and tell you where we stood.
I'm sure you're well aware of the expectations I have for you. I want you to follow in my footsteps and become the next king of the house. Yet you seem to have different ideas. I must admit, I'm rather surprised by your decision to stay. There's nothing wrong with choosing to live a quiet life. Leading this organization is a heavy responsibility, one not so easily carried by someone forced onto the throne.
I just never understood what you saw in me. What made you believe I was deserving of that throne?
Porque no lo quieren en realidad. Y eso ya es merecedor de tenerlo.
You're brave, talented, and, most importantly, you cherish your family. You would do anything to protect them, even if it costs you your life.
Speaking up back there was so brave of you, Linny. It's all thanks to you that we were able to convince Father to back down.
You're a hero, Linny.
Hero. Father is the real hero. Had Father gone all out during the duel, there's no way I would have walked away with my life. She must have had it all planned from the beginning, from the very moment she suggested a duel. I'm not deserving of that title. I'm not strong enough or smart enough.
Sergio Pro dice, Arlequino no usó todo.
No, pues ni cagando.
You're wrong. In my opinion, all you need to be deserving of the throne is conviction and the necessary strength to act on it. We may have different ideas of what it means to be a family, but you can hardly be said to lack conviction. What you
Sergio Pro
truly
dice,
lack is
los estaba
strength.
poniendo a
For
prueba a ver
someone
qué
of your
hacían.
talent, though, that's
Sí.
something that will come with time. Even without that strength, you still chose to face me in a duel, even though the odds were stacked against you. That capacity to honor your convictions is what I truly see in you.
Father.
No one knows what the future holds, what tragedy or triumph may be in store. Being at the head of this organization requires the strength of will to face whatever comes. If reaching a certain standard were required to go after what you want, I would never have succeeded in killing my predecessor. Back then, there was still a considerable gap between our abilities. Strength may decide the ultimate victor, but those who let a lack of strength dictate their decisions or undermine their convictions will never be worthy of the throne.
I understand, Father. Thank you.
Pero la fuerza no es lo único que te puede hacer un buen dealer, weón. Un buen líder. La astucia también es muy importante, weón. Tiene que haber un equilibrio entre las dos.
Children must grow up to surpass their parents. Only then can a family continue to flourish. The road ahead is not an easy one, so I'll ask you one last time. Are you certain you want to stay?
You've done so much for me, Father, and that kindness must be repaid. Plus, with Project Stuja at hand, there are many dangers ahead, and I, for one, don't intend to back down. Protecting my family at all costs.
Then you're welcome to stay. As for Project Stuja, you need not be too concerned. If those cowardly businessmen and heartless dignitaries try to take us down, I'm prepared to teach them a lesson. Having members who longed for the light was our organization's last weakness. With those members no longer among our ranks, the House of the Hearth is like a spider hiding in the shadows. We need only wait for our prey to come to us. At present, our imperative is to use their plan to our advantage. In doing so, a crimson moon shall rise amid the frigid blizzards of winter. No demonstration of loyalty shall go unrewarded. As for the two of you, whether we meet again as friend or foe, I'll remember the camaraderie we shared in this moment.
Vale.
No matter how arduous the journey ahead, I hope we both reach our desired destination.
Puta, uno termina la weá. Miren cómo quedó mi equipo, weón. Juan Furina se salvó de pura cueva, weón.
Sergio Pro dice, Oyala la próxima vez que la veamos no sea como enemigos. Sergio Pro dice, pobre ja 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 ja. Sergio Pro dice, están hechos polvos ja 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 ja.
Buena se salvó. Y Pedro, Juan y Diego empezaron. Oh, ya no tenía. Weón. Cura Crolinde. Estaba a vida máxima y de un golpe me mató, weón. Me mató la Clorinde de un golpe. Conche tu madre, no podía esquivar la weá.
Sergio Pro dice, Furina a un saludo de irse con San Pedro allá a ella.
No. Con Furina saqué al Pedro, Juan y Diego. Y mientras Pedro, Juan y Diego le pegaban, yo me escapaba. Yo esquivaba. Y me alejaba. Y ellos fueron los que la derrotaron, pues. No yo. El mismo error. Tenemos ventaja en combate a distancia, ¿no? ¿Ah? Tenemos ventaja en combate a distancia. Pero dame más contexto, pues, weón. Creo que saqué esto por ocupar un arco contra el Arlequino.
Sergio Pro dice, vimos que Arlequino no es mala como pensábamos.
No, o sea... sí, pues, o sea... Es de la casa que estos weones Es una futai que hace wea trucha por aquí y por allá, pero al menos no una bastarda como la anterior que quería que se mataran entre sí, pero que eran los más fuertes nomás, po. O sea, en ese sentido la buena es más humana, po. Pero nada, sigue siendo una mafiosa, pues weón. Así que yo diría que está gris. Es gris. La anterior era una buena no blanca, completa, de todos colores. Esta es gris.
Sergio Pro dice, con el viajero se lleva bien.
De momento. Aceritos set de sangre. Libera 4 ondas de choque. Madre sangrienta de un único desafío contra la sota. Ni puta idea que son los choques madre sangrienta, weón. Pero saqué el logro. Oh, Newlet. Vamos, vamos.
Didn't Linny say?
Sergio Pro dice, tuve de ganar el 50-50 con Neuvie, yo rezaba y decía que sea Neuvie XD. Sergio Pro dice, cuando se puso dorado, jajaja.
Ay, concha tu madre.
How are you feeling?
Ella está poseída. Solo Slayer puede salvarla.
Jaxito
¿La banda?
Feo dice, ya llegué.
No.
Sergio Pro dice, justo baje el volumen a jajajaja.
Te salvaste, weón.
Jaxito Feo nos acaba de hacer una raid con 3 personas, o gatos. Ari el gato, José y más.
Muchas gracias, Jackcito. Ahí está tu deseo.
¿Dónde estás, puto?
Sergio Pro dice, está viendo el chat XD.
Ayúdame, Takeshi.
Mucha suerte,
Estoy
weón.
aquí, güey. Oh, buena, güey. Oh, no mames, mi primera.
Muchas gracias, Jackcito. Para los que vengan de Jack y no me conozcan, soy Zaptersz y soy estúpido. Y aquí estoy haciendo la misión de personaje de Genshin. Estamos ya terminando hoy el capítulo. Y eso. Hay muchos canjes de sustos. También hay una bola 8 musical. Por si quieren hacer preguntas. Y te canta la respuesta. Eso.
Much better.
Saludos.
What a relief!
Está bien.
What about you? Are you feeling alright?
Estuvo facilito. Solamente sobrevivió una furina nomás. Pero bueno, son detalles.
I knew you'd come out unscathed. Us, on the other hand, well, we've been bedridden for 2 days. I couldn't even. Oh, and I wanted to ask, is Claire V gone? Linny and the other members have left Poisson and returned to the House of the Hearth. According to him, there haven't been any more sightings of a spirit roaming the house.
Su deseo se cumplió.
I see.
I'm glad. Father came to check up on us 2 days ago and told us about what happened with Crusabina and Clairvy. Actually, I've met Crusabina before.
Wait, what? You've met the former knave?
¿De qué?
Crusabina died a year after Clairvy. It was during the year between their deaths that I joined the House of the Hearth. Crusabina had an extremely cruel and radical way of doing things. While she was alive, the atmosphere in the house was suffocating. When I joined, though, the experiment she valued so much had already come to an end, and all the people involved, dead and injured alike, were gone. Crusabina never talked about the past with us newcomers. A couple of months after I joined, Father killed Crusabina and burned all her files. With that, the names of all the people subjected to her experiments, Clairvy included, were lost to the flames, along with the painful memories they represented.
Father took in Lenny and me a couple months after that, but she never mentioned anything about Crusabina or Clairvy.
Vale.
It really seems like something she was planning to keep to herself. The last time you talked to her, did she mention why she kept it a secret for so long?
She said she didn't want us to be affected by the darkness of the past. She was worried we'd develop a false sense of gratitude towards her if we knew about it.
Claro, quería que eso muriera en el pasado.
The foundation of a family should be free of any corrupting influence. Whatever happened in the past, it has nothing to do with who we are now.
Sí, tampoco le afecta. Ella se está encargando de que eso se quede ahí muerto.
And that's what Father told us in the end.
But I still thanked her for everything. It was only after hearing about what Crusabina did that I finally realized how insignificant our lives could have been. The members of the house meant nothing to her.
Claro.
If Father hadn't taken over the House of the Hearth, I probably would have already...
Father rarely brings up the fact that she saved us. She doesn't believe that being indebted to her should be what ties us together. But even if we didn't owe her anything,
Sergio
we
Pro
would still
dice,
choose to
Arlequino
stay.
ya no quiere que eso que pasó
Because
antes vuelva a
this is
pasar,
our
por eso lo
home.
mantenía en secreto.
Claro, eso exactamente.
We may have arguments or times when we feel wronged. Some people may even choose to leave. But as long as Father is here, we will always have a home.
Exactamente.
Whether the path before us is bathed in sunlight or shrouded in shadow. So I wanted to say thank you for helping us make it through this crisis. Without your help, we could have lost a lot more along the way.
Con el menor número de pérdidas posible.
Oh, we didn't do anything, really.
Tenemos encantado de ser su invitado.
Of course. You're welcome anytime.
Are Filial and Nantoy okay?
I actually saw them at a cafe this morning. They didn't recognize me. From what I could tell, they were drinking coffee and talking about one of the operas that started running recently. They seemed happy. If I had to take a guess, I would say they finally found the kind of life they always wished for.
Pero le tiene que recrear toda una vida, po. Vale. Oh, mira, me ganó una chimenea. Ok, muchas gracias por haberme acompañado el día de hoy. Hoy estuvo entretenido. Avanzamos con el Dead Space, nos asustamos mucho. Y terminé el mini evento de Genshin y la historia de la Capuchino. Así que de aquí nos vemos otro jueves. Yo creo que ahora sí voy a comenzar con el, o sea, a continuar con el Soul River. Y después quizás juegue el Mario Wonders o termine la exploración en Submerged. Ese, cualquiera de los dos aún estoy dudando, pero sí o sí quiero avanzar con el Soul River. Y que eso, cuídense, pórtense bien. Nos vemos el martes, va a ser el jueves. Y bueno, díganle al chef bolas. Bye bye, tomen agua, cabros. Ah, eh, Jaxito, gracias por la raid. Sima, gracias por la raid. Se les quiere un montón. Muchas gracias por todo.
Chao, nos vemos, Giles Colliadas.